Mr. Dominic Broadus Sr. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you? And
I'm doing good.
this is my daughter Alana. Hey.
Hello, Alana. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I saw this story, really a heartbreaking story. I really felt like it was important for my audience to be aware of this. But before we talk about what happened, tell me about your son. Tell me about Dominic.
Um, I'll tell you. Dominic was I only have one son, and that was Dominic DJ. We called him DJ, or some of his friends called him Bama. But he was a 31. He was 31 years old. He has a son named Caden. Um, I don't know if you have a picture of him, but he was a very handsome young guy, very outgoing. Um, people that met him really liked him. Um, you want to add anything?
I don't know. He was the more outspoken person. I'm not outspoken like he is.
This was his twin.
Oh,
She's about 13 months older than him, but they spoke every day or text every day. So they were just like peas in a pod. So, me and his mother separated when they were young, but they were always together. And then they have a younger brother too named Aaron.
so for folks who don't know, tell us what happened. It was 2018, correct? Was it 2018?
Yes, it was February 3rd, 2018.
Yeah. So according to what you know, tell us what happened that day, sir.
According to what I didn't know anything until I got a lot of the discovery from from the state attorney. But my son, I guess he had a previous relationship with this guy, the defendant, Gardner Frazier, that lived out in Baker County on a nursery. Um, he went out there to visit him. He had been invited there previously on multiple occasions in November and December. So he was kind of enticed out there, and as you can see from some of the testimony, he was kind of aggressively pursued to come out and visit him. They had known each other, I guess, back in July, met each other back in July of 2017. But that's but so Gardner re-engaged him in November, December 2017, 2018. My son went out there to meet him in February the 3rd, 2018, and he was shot 4 times in the head. Gardner Frazier's story was that a black man attacked him a black man that he might not have known attacked him on the porch, and they tussled and fell off the porch. And he said he had gotten the better of my son, so he allowed my son to get up and go retrieve his slides that he had on, and to return to his vehicle. And then he said on the way back to his vehicle, he said all this through his attorney. So this is just a proxy. So this is Gar has never really said anything. So this is what I'm getting through discovery, through the proxy, through Baker County Sheriff's Office testimony, through FDLE and all that. So he said he attacked my son again. My son attacked him again on the way back, and he felt in fear for his life, so he shot him 4 times in the head, 2 times being in the back of the head, execution style. So after that, he called the police. No, he called his cousin Nathan Thrift over. And again, he called his cousin. When his cousin saw it from the testimony, he says, "Hey," he told him to call police and went back home. But before he called 911, he called his sister and his dad, and then he called 911 and reported it. Now his dad is a retired Baker County Sheriff's officer, and the arriving officers all knew Gardner. And as a matter of fact, the lead arriving officer used to be Ryan Frazier, the father, used to be his superior. So they get out to the site, and Gardner, they can't find the location, not even Baker County, because it's so far back in the woods. Now how my son what got back there, it's a mystery because they said they can't find evidence of when them two might have been there, but you just don't luck upon this place, number one. So you have to be directed there. You have to be told how to get there. Um, anyway, that's that point. Um, so what was that? So when they arrive, he tells the police this is a practical joke gone bad from 2 weeks ago among the rambling. Now you should have been arrested for saying that right away. He never said this was self-defense. I was in fear for my life. The only thing he said on the 911 tape that I could ascertain was that he said he was attacked. So, but he was never arrested. He was sent down to the jail to get him away from the crime scene. But detectives, BCO, FDLE, they saw no evidence of a struggle out there because they said the ground was wet and nobody had mud on them. So the state attorney and the defense statements that they were fighting, to me, it's no clear evidence. He had a torn shirt, but neither one of them had mud. They were on the ground 2 times. Baker County Sheriff's Office, who knew Gardner Frazier, said they saw no signs of where a struggle had taken place. FDLE said the same thing. My son had $1,000 and some slides, his license in his pocket. So there's no way he was going there to fight, to have a fight or to start an altercation. That's the main thing. So the whole story doesn't make sense. It's like a cover up, collusion, complicitness, or a combination of all three to be charged with tampering with evidence only. My, FDLE uncovered evidence of a practical joke my son had played on him about 2 weeks ago, you know, pretending that he was outing him as a bisexual, feminine bisexual guy. And
Mm-hmm.
he was telling Guard Frazier through a pseudonym that he was that some black guy was out there passing out pictures of him in his underwear that he dressed in feminine underwear. Guard was saying, "No, man, that's not me. That's a practical joke." But this is what they uncovered on Gar. But once Gar found out, he stopped communicating with my son.
And weren't there a bunch of text messages and photos deleted from the cell phone?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
A bunch of them, over 115 texts and
Like 35, 40 calls.
yeah, 35, 40 calls.
And
My
you think
son's
she
phone
spoke-
was never found,
your
but
son's phone was never found. Wow.
never found. But they talked about his body being turned over, and they said, his hands looked like one of them would have had blood. It was missing a space where it was rectangular, where probably you had a phone. They could show he used his phone within 2 or 3 minutes of the shooting.
I,
Uh,
I want to read you a quote, sir, that you said in the court. But you said, quote, in order for the defendant to hide his feminine bisexual nature, he executed my son and my grandson's father. In an effort to try and keep his secret, he fatally shot my son in the back of the head twice and tried to destroy any evidence of their relationship.
Not
So,
fatally. Fatally means you did it by accident, so delete fatally. Okay.
right. Yeah, gotcha. So,
Okay.
do you think that this man killed your son because they were in some kind of relationship and he was in fear of being outed or exposed?
That's that. Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly the reasoning behind it. Um, you can see he denied it. He was going to deny it. He was going to even fight the tampering with evidence charges until FDLE and the state attorney came up with the Jacksonville State Attorney's Office came up with evidence through this technology company to recover and unlock Gar's phone. And the subpoena, the different telephone agencies to get my son's iCloud account to recapture some of that stuff.
And how did you find out? How did both of you find out about DJ no longer being with us?
The police, DJ's car was on the property, and they ran DJ's tag, and him and my dad have the same name, and he used my dad's address on his tag. So that's how my dad found out. And then I was actually in Utah working, and my dad called me and told me.
Mm.
Then I had to call my mom and my little brother, who were at that time, well, now they're in Czech Republic. So I had to call them in Czech Republic to tell them.
It's just such a heartbreaking story. And now, like I said, according to the stand your ground law, uh, Gardner Kent Frazier is only going to serve a year behind bars. I mean, this just sounds, and this just happened a few days ago with the court.
That was
Yeah,
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yesterday, I'm sorry. How are you guys feeling as a family that this man is only going to 1 year? It just stuns me.
I think DJ's mother put it best. They're trying to feed us crumbs when we're all disappointed because we know the real charge should be, if not manslaughter, murder in the first degree. Because I'm sure FDLE has missed some evidence. You know, like I said, how he got to that location. Even the Baker County Sheriff's Office didn't know where it was. They couldn't find it. So you had to be directed or told how to get there. But that was never uncovered in any of the documents that I read.
And it was really disturbing. There was a statement from somebody in the court, maybe I don't know who it was, but they said something to the effect of, "Oh well, DJ came to the property. Therefore, because he came to the property, it was stand your ground." And from what I gathered, what I read from what you were saying, what you're saying now is that this was a rule property. He had to have been led there.
I know in the text in July, in November, and December, he gave him his address.
Mm.
Now, I don't know when he went out there or how he got out there or if he's been out there before, but you just couldn't get out there, just find your way because it's a mile off a dirt road or something like that, or half a mile. Even the police didn't know where it was. They know the property, the Baker County Sheriff's Office know that area, but some of them didn't even know that house was back there. And they known Gar since he was a kid.
Were you aware of your son's sexual orientation, that he was dating this person? Were you aware of that at all?
No, I wasn't. No one in the family was. It came as a surprise to us, but that's something you discuss as a family and you deal with as a family. You don't have someone killed or executed because of that. You know, and we still love DJ. We will always love DJ. You know, you can't judge a person based on their sexual nature. You got to base them on, like you said, content of their character. That's what you base a person and your love upon. You don't base it upon these prejudices we have. We got to start getting over that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what disturbs me is there's a lot of cases out there of white men, and as far as the LGBT sense, killing black men. Another one is Ed Buck in in California. And I'm just wondering, do you think that there is a racism, homophobia angle, the reason why there is injustice for your son?
I'm sure that's part of the reason, especially in the investigation and any time after law enforcement arrived and they saw it was a black man. Imagine if a black man had said this was a practical joke going bad when police first arrived. You think he would have walked away from? Hey, they walked out of the Capitol. I guess
Right.
know, this is what we call white privilege.
Yes.
You know, no black man in America could say this was a practical joke gone bad and not be handcuffed and taken led off to jail. No, he was escorted there to get him away from the crime scene and then later let go without ever answering any question. He never said anything about self-defense. You know, in any of the statements I heard, they're 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 assuming that and putting that on him that it was self-defense. And part of it is this Florida law we've got. You
Stand
know,
your ground.
we've got to revoke it, modify it, or change it. But how can you shoot someone and claim self-defense and he didn't, and not have to testify or state why you had to use deadly force? That makes no sense. What you shouldn't pass any law in the land like that. So our next step is trying to think about a federal charge. Because I'm not getting it from the state. So, and then the state's information of why they didn't press charges about they didn't for 6 months. It took them before they found out and broke into Gar's phone. Well, in March of 2018, they interviewed all the Baker County detectives and sheriffs, and one of those detectives, I think his name was Mancini, told them, I heard it was a bisexual relationship, but I don't remember who told me. A detective who doesn't remember who told him a good lead
Like
and
key evidence,
key
basically.
evidence
Right.
and one of their biggest murder in the county. He can't remember who told him. No,
Mm.
is it a cover up? You tell us.
Yeah.
You
No.
tell us. If more than one Baker County sheriff said, I heard him say this was a practical joke gone bad, why wasn't he arrested? If if detectives from FDLE and Baker County said, "Hey, we saw no sign of a struggle," what makes there's precedence that says you don't have to believe. I, I'm not a lawyer, but I played one for the Navy for a little while. Okay,
Yes.
but there's precedence that says what you say can and will be used against you. And if they say they see no sign of a struggle, I mean, what more evidence do you want there?
I
You
mean,
know,
especially destroying evidence, deleting evidence. I mean, I mean, I know how crazy this system is, but when I read this story, I said, this is even crazier than I could have imagined. Destroying evidence. A phone has disappeared.
yeah, the real motive is not tampering with evidence. The motive behind the destroying the phone is trying to hide his bisexual tendency and executing my son. Murder, premeditated. I'm not sure if he used a pseudo name to contact my son and tell him how to get down there. They never. It's any kind of possibility. I'm not sure his father used another phone to call Baker County sheriffs and say, "Hey, this is my son. When you arrive in there, I know law enforcement. I know they know one another. I know if it was my son, I would probably have done that. I might not have used my phone, but I probably would have called Baker County Sheriff's Office and said, "Hey, you're about to get a call from my son."
For folks out there
I can't
listening right
prove. I
now,
can't prove that. I can't prove that. But
right?
that's what
No,
it is.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, listen, a lot of this just feels logical to me. If there's somebody out there who is outraged by this story, my audience is a very active audience. What can they do? Or is there anything that we can do? Is there anything you would like people to do?
Um, we're still weighing our options. We're working with the civil attorney to work on the civil portion of the case. But this family, we look at this as a glass one third full. We still have the civil case, and our main goal to fill this glass is to get a murder charge against Gardner Frazier. That's where we will rest. So, you know, I'm I'm disappointed with the state attorney's office here in Jacksonville because they didn't press for murder charges. I think it's enough evidence there, and I think there's enough case precedent where they could go forward and let a jury decide this. The state attorney has decided this for us that they weren't going to go forward with murder charges, not that he was not guilty of murder, not a jury and not a judge, you know, and I there's case precedents that shows if you the victim is lying, you don't have to believe his word. But they're telling me unless if you have no witnesses, and I can't just there, I can disprove it was a fight because you've got testimony from Baker County Sheriff's Office and FDLE. You know, there was no mud, there was no dirt on either one of them.
Mm.
You know, Maybe
how
there's a federal charge that if somebody knows that we could go after them for.
maybe with enough media attention, something could change. You know how folks get when they get called out. Then suddenly like, oh, we did something wrong. They sometimes think about it differently. How have you all as a family been able to get through this? So many Black families have gone through this. I know you have a grandson, DJ's son. How have you all been able to just get through?
Um, as a family unit and from other survivors because we didn't get the support from the victims advocate because they never classified this as a felony. So for 2 years we waited around for therapy for our grandson and maybe my daughter and his mother, but we had to do that on our own. We were left to do that on our own. So the system is really broken. So it's through other survivors that I've been able to make it because I'm here alone in Jacksonville and it's just a strong family unit, cousins, brothers, sisters. So that's how we've been able to make it. Moms demand action, friends that have helped us out.
I want to thank you all for coming on and just allowing me to just help to spread the word about this story. Uh, Again, I encourage folks to look it up, read the details. If ever y'all want to come on for whatever reason, if something is happening, please let me know. This story just broke my heart. And yeah, it's really, really disturbing. Once again, his name was Dominic DJ Broadus. Did I say it right?
You did. And I want to thank you for inviting us on. I really appreciate it. I encourage others to go read the story at hashtag Justice for DJ Broadus. And I really appreciate you reading it and reaching out to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And just my thoughts, my prayers, light and love to you and your family. And hopefully you'll get justice.
We're still fighting. Thank you.